Hello Nintendo Wii here, welcome back once again to Let's Play Retro Games. Last weekend I met up with Zach from the Beard Gaming and we went to somewhere called the Arcade Club in Manchester. It has the biggest collection of retro arcade machines in the whole of Europe apparently, and it really does show. It was kind of hard to find, so when you're going there look out for this warehouse, and it's round the back. You have to go through the car park and look out for a little sign they've got on the door that says Arcade Club. But once you get inside, it's definitely worth tracking down. This place was amazing. We both said we could easily spend all day there. There was just so much to look at. So there's two different floors. On the first floor, they have a lot of Japanese arcade machines. They have a lot of rhythm games. They also have light gun games, and they also have a selection of consoles plugged into various TVs. They also had a room dedicated to pinball machines, which was really cool to see. There was already a load to do on the first floor, but if you go upstairs, that's where the really cool stuff is. They have hundreds of original arcade machines. Everything you could possibly think of was there. We both got very excited about the fact that they had the original Marble Madness. There was also so many awesome games. I'm just going to go through a few of them now and talk a little bit more about some of the background on the systems. So the first arcade machine we have here is Monkey Ball. I was so excited to find this one. This is actually the original game in the Monkey Ball series, developed by Sega and released on their Naomi arcade hardware just before the GameCube game came out in 2001. I would really have liked this game to be on the Dreamcast because the Naomi is basically a Dreamcast system, just slightly improved, so it is a shame it never came out, but it was so cool to see it. And they also had 18-wheeler and Crazy Taxi as well on the Naomi systems, which is really cool to see. And here we have the amazing, the incredible Marble Madness. As I said at the start, me and Zach were so excited to find this game. This one was developed by Atari in 1984 and was actually one of the first games to have a trackball as a controller. I think one of the other ones was Crystal Castles. But it works really well with Marble Madness. As you can see here, the precision you get from using the trackball compared to using the D-pad on something like the NES or the Game Boy version, it's so much better to play, it really is. There was actually two trackballs on the system as well, so we could do it in two-player, which was so much fun. I do really love the game. I actually did a video about it many years ago when I was doing Retro Game a Week. So if you want to see some more information about Marble Madness, I'll put a link to that video in the description down below, so definitely go and check it out. It's a really interesting game and it has a really interesting story behind it. There was also a sequel that never got a release that was actually completely finished, which is a real shame because I would have loved to play Marble Madness 2. The next one we have here, a game that I'd never actually played before, but one that was really impressive. This one's called Stun Runner. Again developed by Atari, this time it was released in 1989, and it's one of the very first 3D polygonal games. It plays really well for the time, the graphics look great. I know the frame rate isn't the best, but even so I was very impressed by this. And it had a cool cabinet as well where you actually sit down and hold onto the handlebars of the car, and you can also aim it up and down as well to change the direction of the gun. And I just found out that there's actually a port of it in the Atari Lynx, so I wonder how that one plays. And it was also ported to the Atari Jaguar as well. Now here's a game that you find in every arcade, but because this arcade was free play, we actually played it all the way through to the end. This is Crysis II. Developed by Namco and released in 1997, and it was eventually brought over to the PS2 in around 2001, I think. There was also Crysis 1 here, which we got a chance to play too, but I'm really happy that I managed to play all the way through the second one, because I've always wanted to do that. And here we have a very interesting game by Konami. I was trying to look it up online and I found out that this one actually only came out this year. This is called Bishi Bashi Channel, and it was actually released in 2018 in Japan, so it's very cool to see this one. The game itself is basically like a WarioWare style game, and it has a big set of controllers and dials that you can spin around to do the different mini games. It was so much fun, we actually spent a long time playing this one. And upstairs as well, they also had one of the older Bishi Bashi games. Unfortunately, that system was very loud, so we didn't actually keep playing that one. but we definitely came back to this one and played it quite a lot. And here's some images of some of the other Bishi Bashi arcade machines. Turns out there's quite a few of them, and there's actually quite a few home console versions of the game as well. So really interesting to play this one. And just briefly, here's a very interesting game called Panic Park. I'd never heard or seen of this one before, but it was really fun to play. I couldn't record it because, as you can see from this video here by Gizmonic, you really have to put a lot of effort into playing this one. The whole idea is just to push your opponent out of the way and try and win all of the minigames. It was so much fun, probably the most fun out of any of the games that I played there. If you ever get the chance to play it, definitely have a go because it's one of the most entertaining and unique games that I've ever seen. And the next one here is called Rhythm Tengoku, or Rhythm Heaven as it's known in the UK. This game was originally on the Game Boy Advance, and the arcade version here was developed by Sega and Nintendo and released in 2007. I was really drawn to this arcade machine because the game that we actually saw playing is actually a minigame in WarioWare Twisted, so I was very surprised to see this one, and it plays really well in the arcade. And the final game we'll be looking at here in this section is called Truxton, and this was developed by Toaplan and Sting Entertainment and published in the arcades by Namco. It was released in 1988 and it had a lot of home console ports later on. I'd really love to get one of them at some point. This game looks really good, it almost feels like a modern shooter in some ways. So that's it for the games I'm going to go into detail with. So sit back and enjoy the rest of the video. Thank you so much for watching so far. So, thank you very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you're ever in Manchester, definitely go and check out Arcade Club because it's a fantastic place and I can guarantee you're going to have an amazing time there. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. If you've ever visited before, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you thought about the place as well. If you haven't already, press subscribe, check out my Patreon, and as always, I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye.